We talked about the MARDET, Marine Detachment, and they were great because we would get requests from Army Guard units from all over and up and down the West Coast. Hey, we need to train our guys on forward air controlling. Can you send some aircraft to do that? And almost invariably, we'd find the Marines and say, you guys go do that because that's Marine shit, and they would happily go. Yeah. And of course, for the BNs, there's your bombing scores from going out to the range. That was always you're always looking for the best bombs. I will say honestly, with truth in my heart, I was a better navigator than I was a bombardier, but I had my hits. I had my shares of really good bomb hits. Just not as many as a lot of the other guys, but I worked at it. It was tough for me towards the last 2 years in the squadron because I was commuting out from the upper Midwest. I was out at the squadron about 2 weeks, a month, just like that airline job I was going to have, and decided not to. That began to take a little bit of toll, but stayed at it. And I eventually realized in 92 that it was time with kid at home. My late wife was working usual medical industry or medical community, 10 to 14 hours a day, stuff like that, that it was time to draw back a little bit. So I exited semi-gracefully and went on to another, 11 years in the doing other Navy stuff. But those 4 years I got about 100 hours a year, maybe a little more. Got some traps, dropped live ordnance, inert ordnance, lots and lots of low-level flying, because that's what we did and had a blast. If folks are interested, out there on YouTube are some low-res made on, video VHS recorders, but there's a 4-part video on the Firebirds on VA 304.
Nice.
That is on YouTube out there somewhere. That is what life was like for the squadron. I'm in it in a couple of places. In fact, my farewell, see y'all later speech, part of it is on there. And I gave our maintenance guys a framed copy of a beautiful etching of a A-6 in squadron colors, all bombed up and stuff like that. And I think after my last flight, it's tradition in the Navy, don't know about the Air Force, when you come off your last flight, you're going to get hosed down. Just like you've seen the arcs of fire hoses over airplanes, you get that, except it's right on you. And there's some video of that in there too. Went out armed with blue bombs and bombed the crap out of dead tanks and Bravo 15 at Fallon after doing a scorching low level.
Yeah, it doesn't get better than that, does it? So
it does not.
Absolutely not. So a couple of questions to wrap up here, Andy. What would you say the best thing about being a BN on the A6 was?
The absolute vitalness of what that job was. You can't fly the A6E without the BN. Well, you can do it, but you're not doing anything other than flying an airplane. The mission was the BN seat. That's what I was there. Get us to the plan on how we're going to get to the target, put that ordnance exactly where it needs to be, on time, on target, and egress safely. It was all in my seat, from figuring out the route, the turn points, the exact time to that turn point, on to the next turn point, doing something called radar predictions. What is that turn point? What is that target going to look like at the altitude I'm coming in at the speed, everything else? We were just beginning to get what was then called, I think it was the Target Attack Multi-Purpose Planning System, TAMPS, where you started to have computer-assisted planning. But a lot of it was manual. and then having all of the turn points and the altitude of that turn point put into the analog digital memory system, and then which was all read out on the cockpit. Your readers can see some of the pictures of the BN side of an A6E cockpit. All of those readouts, your lat long, ground speed, true air speed, all of that other stuff, making sure you've got the proper selections in the weapons panel all set, making sure master arm is on, everything, all, you got to be able to do it. Locking up that target, getting everything going, getting those bombs off, hitting the target, and getting out. Absolute exhilarating, loads of fun. I'm so glad I got to do it. I'm glad they needed BNs. Glad they needed BNs at my rank level. It was an amazing mission, a whole different world from my whale life. And it made me better later on when I spent 4 years teaching Navy battle group staffs who were mainly sub guys and surface guys and people not in the strike warfare community, how warheads on foreheads, how strike warfare at sea, overland, all integrated to what their responsibilities were on the battle group staffs that they were manning.
Mm-hmm.
So, God, yeah. And low levels. Oh my God, I love low levels.
Yeah.
I mean, you're getting paid. The best story I've got, one of the best. Can't remember the route's name, but it used to go make a big turn out over, you went over the Sierra Nevada, you entered and in the eastern Sierra Nevada, and just around the Tonopah test range, know a lot of your folks know about Tonopah, made a big turn north and you paralleled US 395, which is a long, straight desert highway. You're down about telephone pole height. You're offset a little bit from the highway. And I vividly remember seeing out ahead the flashing lights of a Nevada Highway Patrol car. Obviously had somebody stopped. And we kind of maybe eked down a little low, maybe a little close to the highway. And went zorching past these guys. And as we went past, I remember vividly looking out the side of the window, seeing the non-trooper pointing up at us. And I can imagine saying, speeding? You think I was speeding, officer? What about those assholes?
Awesome.
There is a story out there. I have no direct knowledge of this story.
No, of course not. No. Yes.
Of course not. I was not there, and you can't prove anything.
Exactly.
But at times, because the A6 had a a way of locking up MTI, moving target indicator, we could actually lock up moving vehicle traffic. That was developed because of the truck traffic on the Ho Chi Minh Trail and became very useful later on. You could lock up an individual vehicle, target it, and hit it. Our radar used, I want to say, lower K band, maybe an upper J band, which, by the way, is the same radar used by the Washington State Highway Patrol for speeders.
Okay.
And it was always fun out in eastern Washington with the big, long, straight interstates to practice this by locking up on, say, a semi doing 85 and a 70. And watching that target suddenly decelerate rapidly because we'd set off his radar indicator and he thought it was a highway patrol car and plummeted in the ready room in VA 128 was a thank you plaque from the Washington State Highway Patrol for our efforts to control traffic speed. Yeah, some of the fun. Some people said when you did it at night, you could see the IR signature coming off the brakes as they heated up, trying to slow themselves down.
But,
And several guys did have Washington State Highway Patrol patches on their flight suits.
Oh, did they really? Oh, that's really cool.